Hey, it's back. We're here. I'm Domcast, joined by Absolution for another week of the Legends of Runeterra Aegis Esports League. How are you feeling, Absolution?
Legends of Runeterra Aegis Esports Amateur League.
Let's go. It's here. And we're ready for another week. I'm glad to be back. I'm looking forward to the decks. We've finally settled into the new patch. I remember the last time I was here, we had just seen the release of Annie and Jhin and Bard and Alawi and all those other things, but we finally found a couple of pretty strong decks with these new cards, and they've shaken up the meta a good deal. What are you looking forward to, Absol? What are you hoping to see tonight?
Yeah, what I'm gonna say is that I think it's been a while, but I'm glad that we finally found some pretty strong decks with the new champions. I'm looking forward to seeing those very strong decks.
Okay, well, we are going to be able to see a couple of decks.
Mom, I'm on TV.
Well, we are going to be seeing a couple of interesting decks tonight. We're going to be covering the first match between the Wombats. Hold on, I know this one. Wombat Flingons versus Team Ambition. We're going to be introducing a couple of decks in a minute, but before that, we need to talk about something, Absolution. We were talking before the match. Thrall's not good. So
this is the absolute hot take. I think Thrall's is nuts on ladder, okay? Because Thrall's is a deck that over a large sample size will win consistently. I think Thrall's is booty butt cheeks in tournament, strictly because I don't think it's too dependent on drawing cards, like the right cards in your opening hand, to be something that I would consider an effective and good tournament deck, right? You know? That's where Absol stands, and that is what I will continue to stand on. And until I see someone 2-0 with Thralls back-to-back, the same opponent in the same match, I will refuse to take that back.
All right, well, that's a pretty strong stance to be taking, but let's just get right into it. We're going to cover our first deck of the matchup today between the Wombat Flingons and Team Ambition Hydra White. Is going to be the Bard Galio deck. Why don't you walk us through this one real quick, Absolution?
Ooh, this deck is actually super duper cool. So Galio has a little mechanic called Formidable. And Bard has this weird level up condition where he wants to see your allies' stats increase, like their total stats, right? So this includes attack and defense. So this card runs a number of really unique ways to abuse, the Bard package. Now, Demacia on its own is actually a pretty strong region. It's got almost all the tools you really need at this point. Some people would even say it's a bit overtuned, except for card draw. And Bard is going to fill that gap for us, right? When we have Bard on board, we have that Bard card draw spell. And a few cards in this deck are going to give us really good synergy with Bard. So for Demacia, a Vanguard Sergeant is pretty much an auto flip for your Bard because it counts each buff to a unit as giving you 6 stats total. So 6 points towards Bard's level up. All your Formidables get way better once you start getting those chimes on them, right? So if you hit a couple good chimes on a handful of Formidables, they get kind of nuts. So you're just have this really good synergy of Bard making your already very high statted units because of Formidable. A lot of their units are overstatted in that way, in terms of their HP being significantly higher than it normally would be for their cost. So that Bard's going to give you more stats for your units, makes them even stronger. Galio's going to give you rallies, give you stats. It's just big boys do big boy things. It's a very cool and good deck.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Demacia is pretty strong on its own. I'm noticing there's only Bard and Bird. Those are the only 2 cards that add chimes to your deck. There's no Esmus, there's no any of the other cards that came out with Bard that add chimes to your deck. So it really is just like a Demacia, and then Bard's also along for the ride, I guess. And I'm looking at it, and there's a lot of Challenger also.
Yes, the deck really abuses the Challenger synergy with your chimes in terms of just giving... Basically, you just kind of create a bunch of overstated units, right? You have Challenger to abuse the fact that you're getting these really good stat buffs. However, the deck can succumb a little bit to your chime RNG, right? We are a bit dependent on those chimes being hit. Now, Bard's Origin does kind of take care of that, but you are right. There's a lack of the other Bard followers in this deck, and I think that just comes down to them not really being exactly necessary. Duran Sculptor kind of does Esmith the job that Esmith would do for you. Bird being one of the better ones, because on turn 1, if you have, say, a Broadwing in hand or a Protege or something in hand, you get that nice chance of hitting that chime onto those units. And Swiftwing Flight finally seeing a bit of play, as well as a Vanguard Redeemer. Some cooler, lesser played cards actually seeing some play in this deck. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Vanguard Redeemer, like you mentioned, Demacia, not a lot of draw. Vanguard Redeemer, one of the few cards that does have draw in Demacia. And Swiftling Flight, I think, follows along with the same of grant buffs to units. Swiftling Flight grants, I think it's 1/0 to other challenging units when you attack. So definitely some synergy there. And then, like you mentioned, Duran Sculptor, Petrocite Broadwing, kind of overtuned.
A little bit.
Don't need to go too into that, but. We're going to cover the Wombat Fling-Ons, and they're running Ziggs Talia, and you mentioned it before as a joke, but Fiora, the 2-cost, 3-power challenger. So this is a fairly standard Ziggs Talia deck. You know, there's the Ziggs, there's the Talia, then there's the Endless Devout, everyone's favorite, and then the Herald of the Mages. Everything else, pretty standard for landmark creation and destruction. And then the Petrocite Broadwing just serves to add to that clear. You know, you have the Rockhopper to grant vulnerable. You have the Broadwing that just has challenger. So easy opportunity to make sure that there's not any big blockers for Talia or Ziggs that could threaten them on board. So pretty standard stuff. And then 1 Rite of Negation, 1 Golden Aegis, some safety, and then some final, like, close the door on the game with the rally. So pretty standard deck, absolutely. But some interesting changes with the Broadwing.
I completely agree. I mean, looking at the list, it feels like maybe Sivir might slot in better than Talia on this list, just because we do have that Cataclysm synergy. But the 2 of Herald is really good here, especially with that Cataclysm on a unit like Talia, who essentially is going to get to proc her ability twice, plus Overwhelm gives this deck, which already has a good amount of closing power, a lot better ways to finish the game a bit faster, which feels like you kind of need in this current meta, where a lot of the good decks are just my unit has big stats.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned it. It's big units or a lot of burn, and you know, if you're running a deck like Ziggs Talia, you want to have a way that can close out the game once you reach that point. So those are the 2 decks we're gonna highlight here. But for the first matchup, we know who the first matchup is. Absolution. It's going to be Black Boss and Cannon. So it's a pretty interesting lineup.
Kanan is going to be Black Boss versus Kanan. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Runeterra AR for helping us with those deck breakdowns. One of the best services to craft your deck lists. And as we see, our players have brought 3 very interesting deck lists each.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned it. We covered the Bard Galio. I actually really want to see this deck just because Galio hasn't really seen a lot of anything since his release. He was popular for like a day while people were figuring him out, and then he kind of fell off since there were other stronger cards in that release. But there's the Thralls that you're so fond of, as well as some Zillion Echo.
The thing I will say, though, is that we're looking at a lineup, right? Kanan running a lineup that absolutely dumpsters on Thralls, in my opinion. The Viego does really well into Thralls. The Pantheon does pretty good into Thralls. Mm-hmm. And Heimer Jace just has so much removal and the ability to generate other big units, which ends up being a great way to deal with Thralls.
Yeah, you know, Kanan seems to be running some pretty interesting stuff. You know, the Spider Viego we were talking about before the show went live it's not Spider Viego, it's the Legion Deserter.
Yeah, Legion Deserter
is. You know, it's an interesting card. I actually think it's got some pretty cool stuff. It definitely synergizes really, really well with the Encroaching Mists, the Mistwalkers, or the Mist Wraiths, excuse me, and the Spider Everywhere buffs, if you're going to get to that point, also help out. So definitely a strong card, you know, just drop a 5-cost 20 power Overwhelm.
Yeah, it's a little nuts.
There's no clear. There's not much you can do. But then, like you mentioned, I think, yeah, that deck should do really well in the Thralls. The Pantheon deck should do really well in the Thralls. Even the Jace Heimerdinger should do really well in the Thralls. Where, then, Absolution, does Black Boss find his win?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at Black Boss's lineup, and I think the best deck we see in terms of what they will be playing into is going to be that Bard Galio. Black Boss is running a lot of decks that are kind of playing Solitaire Runeterra, where their game plan supersedes their desire to interact with your board. And the Galio Bard deck is the only one out of those three that has the ability to really punish your developments with those really big oversized challenger units.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good way to look at it. You know, the one deck that I'm worried about from Black Boss is actually the Zillion, excuse me, Zillion Echo. I'm just it kind of suffers even more from the high roll than Thrall that you're so worried about.
I also said it last season when it was popping off that it was not a good deck. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of opportunity for it to go wrong for Black Boss here if he has to play the Zillion Echo, because the Pantheon Yuumi, that's a deck that gets huge and clears the board really well with the Demacia spells. Everything Cannon has ran or is running should be able to handle the Zillion Echo or the Thrall's deck fairly well, which means Cannon just needs to not play well. Like, obviously everyone wants to play well, but just need to make the correct ban. Are you actually worried about the Galio Bard, or are you worried about the Thrall or the Zillion Echo? Like, what's the deck that you don't want to have to coin flip?
I was gonna say, yeah, if I'm looking at my bans here on either side, if I'm coming in from the side of Kanan, I'll say it both ways because I forgot. I'm banning out the Bard Galio, and I'm taking my chances into the other two. I think that we just see a lot of really good winning matchups into those decks. Echo Zillion can't really deal with Pantheon or Viego big boys without that Voice of the Risen on the board. And even with the Voice of the Risen, you're very dependent on hitting those the Echo created spell in order to try to clutch out the victory into those big unit decks, because you're going to have to hit them at least twice to take them off the board. Same thing with Thralls here. And if I'm coming in from Black Boss's perspective, the one deck I want to ban here is Pantheon Yuumi. That deck is so broken. If you don't ban Pantheon Yuumi, you are actually nuts.
Yeah, no, that is definitely probably the way to go for a Black Boss, because you have to find the win somewhere, and the Pantheon Yuumi is probably the deck that you're least prepared to handle as far as the lineup you've brought. The Bard Galio is probably the best matchup into the Yuumi Pantheon, but if you're Black Boss, you have to assume that that's getting banned, I think, because playing two slow decks is not a great place to be. And if you're Cannon, that's where you want to force Black Boss into. Like, you want to force him into playing two slow decks because you have Elise Viego, excuse me, with and there's the ban. There's the ban.
Yep. I do want to bring up here though that Black Boss's lineup, while being more solitaire, I think is very well geared towards the playoffs format, where if Black Boss manages to win, there's the odds of Black Boss just playing multiple games back to back, and the decks that they're running don't require as much. That's an insane ban. Banning out the Thralls, that's kind of wild, to be honest. But as I was saying, the format, the winner for each team will stay on until they are defeated in almost a King of the Hill style crew battle-esque format. So playing more solitaire style decks where you don't have to think as much about your interactions with your opponent's board might be better in the endurance competition.
Yeah, I think Cannon's just expecting that the Pantheon Yuumi gets banned, and he's worried that he can't beat the Thralls with Jace Heimerdinger. It's the only logic that I can think of, and I'm probably wrong, but that's the only reason I can think of.
Is Jace Heimer's unit quantity is all low HP, so you don't have great block.
Yeah, exactly. Like once the Thralls come onto the board, the Jace Heimerdinger kind of falls off like really hard. Because you can't really block it without losing your entire board, and you can't attack just because the Thralls are 8/8 cards. Like they will just eat the damage and then clear the unit back. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I think we're gonna see probably the Zillion Echo first into the Jace Heimerdinger, just both Black Boss and Cannon looking to get that win out of the way early. just making sure
Yeah,
they find something.
exactly. They're more consistent decks. Whenever you're sort of in a tournament situation, for those in chat, and you have a more consistent deck and a deck that's a bit more dependent on RNG, it's often best to try to sneak out that RNG win first and fall back on the consistent deck in the event you don't think you're going to be able to get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that I've talked about a lot before. Is that like it's not just a ladder match. It's not a one off like 1v1. This is 3 matches in a row. There is a psychological aspect. There is like a long play to it. It's when it comes down to the bans, like what deck do you not want to play against? What deck do you not think you can beat? And then what's that deck that you think you can beat with both of your decks? So that's what you really got to come down to and think about when you're in a situation like this. When you're in that or best of 3 match. And I think both players have made a pretty good choice as far as their bans. Just waiting to get into the first game between the Wombat Flingons and Team Ambition Hydra White. It's looking to be a pretty interesting one. I actually am really looking forward to it. And I'm looking at the rest of the deck lineups for Hydra White and the Wombat Flingons. And this could be an interesting series.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be very, very exciting to watch, right? We see decks that do have some nice interaction, which is always great to watch, right? We see this Bard Gallia, which it's very new in terms of its popularity, only really popping up to a high win rate in the past couple days. So there's a good chance a lot of people haven't actually seen this deck. So it's going to be very exciting to watch. And Heimerdinger Jace, I think, is a very fun and cool deck to see because the combo with those two is really unique and fun.
As we get into the first matchup, and it's going to be the Mist Wraiths into the Galio Bard. So the exact opposite of what I said, I was expecting the Jace Heimer versus the Echo Zillion, but it's going to be interesting. Black Boss is able to find the Petrosite Broadwing and the Fleet Feather and both birds as their mulligan.
That is actually perhaps an almost perfect hand. The only hand that is better than this is when you hit one of Bird and one of Broadwing and no other units, because then for a fact you're getting a 4/4 Broadwing on the board. But the turn
and the Bard just procced on the Broadwing.
God.
The Bard procced on the Broadwing.
That's a terrifying situation to be, right?
I don't think Black Boss could. Sorry. Go absolutely.
No, I was gonna say that's a dead Elise. That's a champion that's dead. Dead champ.
Yeah, and not yet. The fearsome means the formidable can't block. But I was gonna say I don't think this is a better play. You could play out better than what Black Boss has, because you drop the Bird 1. I was gonna expect the Bird or the Fleet Feather Bird round 2 into the Broadwing round 3, hoping for another Chime to proc on it. And then round 4 you draw the Bard. You drew the Bard, but I was saying even if you didn't draw the Bard, you could still have the Swiftwing Flight, the Fleet Feather, and the Petrosite Broadwing, and attack with all those cards, and all those challenger units are getting buffed, and you're clearing whatever Cannon has on the board. That's a huge sweep.
It's insane. Now, Cannon's hand though is very good for the deck. That draw was a little mid, but running that a great card here, we see Disintegrate. Choosing not to use it on the Broadwing, definitely an interesting choice. Maybe just saving it for a different situation, potentially a bigger unit. I do think Broadwing is a great target in the event your opponent maybe has, Shield of Kevin Durant or any of the other cards that are going to make Broadwing kind of crazy. However, we do see Viego and Hydravine, which are two of the cards you really want to get that engine going as soon as possible for your Vanguard Sergeants.
I think Kanan is just not in too poor of a spot yet, so they don't need to use the Disintegrate. Losing the Elise, sure, that's a very unfortunate move, but you still have, like you mentioned, the Viego and the Hydravine, the 2 cards that you actually just need for this deck.
Yeah.
And, the Disintegrate, like you mentioned, could kill a huge unit for basically free. So the Galio, the 7 health, goes even stronger once it comes out. All these other cards that buff the health, like the Shield of Durand, the Sharp Sight, the Vanguard Sergeants for Demacia even. All those are just making huge beefy units. The Disintegrate will make sure that at least one of them disappears immediately as we see the Undergrowth come out.
Yes, this is a very good card here. Undergrowth, I think, is actually really, really strong. I think a lot of people don't run toss cards enough in their decks in terms of looking at, well, what do I get for tossing? Because you're always tossing off the bottom of your deck, which means you're always tossing cards you're probably never going to see in match.
Yeah.
And you're gaining a really strong effect for doing that.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And
that draw is so good.
Yeah, that draw is actually amazing. The only question is, do you play the Viego? And the answer is probably not. You don't want to risk it. There's
I think you definitely play,
something that comes out.
That can's got to go down first for sure.
Yeah. But no, I think does Cannon glimpse beyond here, or I guess they wait till the attack comes out. But
yeah, I definitely think the glimpse isn't bad. I like the glimpse here, especially on these 1/1s. Even if you just play the Chemovoran Soldier to get the extra blocker down, and then you can use that encroaching mist as a glimpse beyond target, so you don't actually lose a real unit. That unit's going to die at the end of the round anyway, so it makes a decent blocker into glimpse beyond combo. And there's the Vanguard Sergeant. Next round, we could potentially see that come down just to flip the bar that's in hand.
Yeah, I think you're totally on here.
Or not next round, 2 rounds from now. But
well, yeah, the bar's got to come out first. But no, I think you're on to something. I think that's definitely a way that Black Boss can try and play this. I think Black Boss is worried though about a potential vengeance or something else that can clear this bard, which is a fair concern as we see the Chemovoran Soldier come out. So no risk of the vengeance here, but the bard can't be played right now anyways.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, when you look at this, like this hand, if I'm Cannon, I'm not worried about champions right now, right? I Disintegrate, except for Galio, Disintegrate is a great card because of how much it balances these types of decks innately just by existing, right? Like a lot of people will complain about how good it is and how nuts it is that they just lose their unit for trading. You kind of just have to play around it. And I think it lets you have things like Broadwing that can exist because Disintegrate is so good. And we're looking at a situation where Cannon was able to make a totally different line, right? We were able to see that them not worry at all about, okay, it's fine. If Bard comes down, whatever, I have my 2 mana, I block the Bard, and it dies, I'm good to go.
Yeah, and I think that's totally right. As we see the Bard come through, they've noticed that Cannon basically tapped below Vengeance, so that's probably what they were waiting for to drop that Bard. And unfortunately, they're 1 mana short for the 4 Demacia, so that's not going to be a thing yet. Next turn.
I definitely think we're setting up for a next turn for Demacia. I don't think you really want to block here, unless the Viego swings in, which, if I'm Cannon, I'm not swinging that Viego.
Yeah, even then, like, there's nothing that guarantees you kill the Viego in your hand if you're Black Boss. Like, the Viego attacks, and then you block with, I assume, the Vanguard Sergeant, and then you kill the Viego next turn, but you want to be able to have those huge units because you have 3 challengers anyways. So with the 4 Demacia, you'll be able to have, like 12 damage maybe.
It's a very big board.
Because the challengers will just make sure that 12 damage goes straight through. And we see the glimpse beyond here.
It's an interesting glimpse. I don't hate it. There's the Legion Deserter. We love to see that. That is exactly what you want to see if you're Cannon right now.
Exactly.
That and the Spider here. If Black Boss decides to drop that 4 Demacia, this Bard most likely... I mean, you could pick something else if you wanted to, but playing into this deck a few times, I like stunning down the Bard. I think the extra chimes are terrifying. And there's the Vengeance. That's really good. That's actually a really good draw.
Yeah, yes. Wait.
Just lets it go through. I feel like killing the Bard there wouldn't have been a bad idea. But maybe there's another line.
So, I was going to say, Kanan has enough mana to do Vengeance and the Arachnoid Sentry. So, yeah, the stun coming out onto the Fleet Feather, I probably would have gone for the Valor, because that's Scout. That's potentially twice that this unit is challenging, because they could easily challenge the Chemovoran and then challenge Viego in 2 attacks.
Or just challenge the Viego and challenge the Viego again, just guarantee that kill.
Well, the Valor will die challenging the Viego.
No,
so
I mean,
if it challenges the Chemovoran first, it can challenge the Viego the next turn, or the next attack. But Kanan still has enough mana for a Vengeance, so the Vengeance could come out on the Bard. potentially if Black Boss goes for this scout attack.
Black Boss, however, does have that golden Aegis in hand. We got to keep that. That is very live right now. And I think we see the Viego get hit here once, die. Okay, save. That doesn't save, but it does kill.
Yeah.
That is a and there's the Vengeance. And that taps under Rally Mana. I think that potentially just letting that Valor, if you're going to challenge the Viego, I think you do it knowing the Valor is going to die. No matter what. And you save the mana for the Rally, because I think the Rally is a bit bigger.
Now here another Sharp Sight comes out, and this kills the Viego.
Yep, absolutely. That does take care. That does handle that.
Yeah. So losing the Viego is definitely a rough place to be. And Black Boss actually playing this very smart and challenging the Viego first so that they can't summon another or Encroaching Mist, which would push him or the Viego potentially over. But no, it wouldn't push the Viego over. It would still be 7 health. But getting another buff onto the Legion Deserter that we all know is in Canon's deck.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if we see I wonder if we see the Hydrovine before the Deserter, because Hydrovine is insane.
Yeah, and there's not that many buffs yet for the Legion Deserter. The Encroaching Mists are only at 3/3.
That does put Legion Deserter at +6/+6.
Is it?
So it gets, because the Encroaching Mists buffs all Encroaching Mists and Viegos, it gives him 2/2 for every Encroaching Mist you play. That's where the nuts of the deck really comes in.
I forgot that. I didn't realize it would count as 2 everywhere buffs. But
no one did.
But it's still a little too early, I think.
I do agree.
And like you mentioned, the Hydrovines grant you board presence every round. So having that Mist Wraith generation is really, really good. Having the Encroaching, or not the Mist Wraith, Encroaching Mist generation is good. Having the Hydrovine is good. And do you think Kanan goes for another Hydrovine next turn if they're able to play it?
Honestly, into a deck like this, Demacian Challengers, I like the idea of going for that second Hydrovine and then coming onto your attack turn, playing down your Legion Deserter, and basically saying, okay, time to go. Either you're going to have an answer or you're going to lose this game. Because now, +4/+4 round start is nuts.
I might have missed it, but did Bard attack the last turn, or did Bard not
attack? I believe Bard did it.
But they got the Chime generation. That's what I was thinking of. So there's potential that some of these units get pretty big next turn or in the following turns. Now,
very high.
Does Kanan? So let's see. They'll be at 9 mana. So they could potentially next turn, if Black Boss plays a slow spell card, they could go for the House Spider first, which grants 2 blockers. Yeah. Oh, but here's the Rally.
The Rally is... I don't know how I feel about that Rally. I think Black Boss is just trying to put on damage. If we look at the hand Black Boss has, we're kind of in a position where Black Boss needs to find the out. Yeah, you have to start trying to find your outs and just taking these bigger, not necessarily great plays overall on paper, but in these situations, they end up just being the best lines to take. The more chimes Black Boss gets, the better this Swiftwing, or the Silverwing, is that Vanguard, I believe, in hand?
The 4 cost?
Yeah, the one that makes 2 of it. So I believe it's Silverwing Vanguard.
It's either that or the Swiftwing Flight, or is that the one that's already on board?
Swiftwing Flight is the one that's already on board.
Okay, all right.
Whatever it is, the one that summons itself gets really good if it gets some chimes. Which 3 chimes up top is really good right now. And we draw the Viego. Oh, that's insane.
Ooh, this is... so Black Boss, I think... Oh, okay, that's okay. The only problem is that Kanan has a Hydrovine and the House Spider, so they could go for a double summon just like Black Boss is, and just have 2 more blockers out. Which, the Viego. I probably would have gone for the double summon of blockers.
I do like the Viego here for one reason. I think I would have maybe played it a bit slower, but Viego makes that attack so bad for Black Boss. Because the moment you kill that Hydrovine, now my Viego is going to get 7 stats towards its level up. Plus the Encroaching Mist, plus the next Encroaching Mist is putting Viego on pretty much a next turn I flip with second Hydrovine in hand.
Okay.
That's huge. That's huge. That's
I like that. I like
4 turns ahead.
I like that. That's some large encephalous play.
Math is for more than blockers in this game.
Yeah, no, I actually like that a lot. That means I think that means Black Boss should have just attacked before summoning the extra Bright Steel, because that means like there's just extra blockers now.
If you're thinking about where's this Viego going to be, I do agree. I think I do agree swinging would have been really good, and then potentially
what does the Bright Steel do? What does the Bright Steel didn't do anything. It saved your Silver Wing.
Yeah,
but you need to get damage on the board. And you had like a 2-unit advantage before the House Spider came out.
Very big
but then
advantage.
You played the Bright Steel and you lost that unit advantage. You could have got some damage on board and got damage onto Viego. It's a rough decision. It's definitely not the best place to be for Black Boss.
And there's the flip. That was actually perfect math from Kanan. That's insane. Kanan mathed that out so well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because some of the other miss and the other miss gets stacked. That's so good.
And then I think, we're just going to see the double Deserter summon. And then
into
just the FF.
Dude, 1716. Dude, Atakan is in shambles right now. Okay, this is what Riot wanted when they released Atakan, and they didn't get it. And now here we are seeing the 5-mana version do so much better.
Well, yeah, because Atakan's 10 mana. And then, like, what's the point? If you're 10 mana summoning a Noxus unit, like, the game's in a bad place. If you're
hear me out.
Okay, I'll hear you out, and then I'll counter with you.
If they give Atakan Spell Shield, I think it's actually an insane card. I think if you can play it and not get instantly vengeanced, it's not bad.
I actually don't even think Spell Shield would matter. I think if you're at the point where you're summoning a 10 power follow or a 10 mana follower with Noxus,
that's also true.
How would you not be better off playing Farron and then decimating and then attacking, or attacking and then decimating?
I mean,
how would you not be better with Farron?
You 100% are. All right.
Like,
I don't think Atakan becomes tier 1. I think it becomes playable.
If you're summoning a 10 cost follower with Noxus at turn 10, like something's gone wrong in your game before that, and Farron would probably be better anyways.
Very true. Farron is just insanely good in almost every way.
As we get into match 2 with the Jace Dinger and the Galio Bard again. So Black Boss he's either gonna get this win with Galio Bard, or they're gonna go out. Like this.
Yeah, I mean, I see Kanan here. he's got the professor and the student. Like, he's ready to take Black Boss to class right now. Mm-hmm. And this hand is showcasing that 100% we might just see that happen. That is actually godlike as a hand. We have the 1 mana tech that I always refer to as Frylock. We have our 2 mana Pharaoh's Financier, who now can hit Song Spitter, which is one of like the best 6 drops in P&Z now. Absolutely insane card.
What is it?
Song Spitter, the one that is 7 mana burst speed, create 3 2 cost. You create a 2 cost card, 2 less cost card in your hand, and then you do that 2 more times for ones you don't already have. And they all cost 0. I don't even know what the cost is. I can't remember. You create 3 cards in hand, they cost 0 for the round. 7 mana burst speed. It's insane because it can create cards from like any region. You can get some crazy stuff. And then we see, oh my God, do we see the Hextech Handler in hand too? This is everything you want to see in this deck.
Yeah, and having whatever you wanted to call the Adaptatron. Having the Adaptatron and the Hextech Handler in the same turn, that's a pretty good summon.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely nuts.
I'm surprised that Kanan hasn't gone for the Financier yet. Find one of those BTFO spells.
yeah. I feel like we're in a situation where maybe Kanan feels like they don't need to.
We have a progress day.
You're right. Let me see it.
The Glorious Evolution. Just, not coin flip, but, manifest. We'll use the keyword. Manifest one of those big spells for you. But
I kind of like, if I'm Kanan here, no, Black Boss has a lot of mana. I was going to say, we might want to just drop the Thermo Beam onto the Broadwing. It covers Shield of Kevin Durant, and we'll still get 3. It's essentially a 3 mana deal 6, because we get 3 mana back from our landmark.
Yeah.
However, Black Boss does have enough mana to do Shield of Durant plus. So that could be where Kanan's head is at. Although now we don't see it. I think you drop this for sure because we don't want to lose. I think Hextech Handler is actually too good into this matchup where your opponent has a metric ton of units.
Oh, they go for the
Ooh,
shock blast.
playing more
They
for
can
board
still
control.
go for the. They can still go for the
That's true. You're right. They can.
thermo.
They can. That's actually. You know what?
Can
This is
still
why
go
they're the
for
pros.
thermo.
This is why they're the pros, and I'm not. Because that's absolutely insane. That covers both lines. That's a really good line. That's nuts.
Curious.
Yep.
No,
There's.
I think that's good. I think that was
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was wild. I didn't even see that coming.
I didn't see it coming because I wasn't paying attention to what the Forge of Tomorrow did. But I was like, it definitely did seem like just using the thermo would have just been better. Not just better, but
Yeah,
definitely seemed, because then you would have gotten both 6-cost spells. Is the only thing I was thinking of. Is you could get both 6-cost spells. But
yeah, that's the big thing was the Jace level of progress that I was looking at. However, we do see Station
Adaptatron.
Archivist. That does suck.
Adaptatron, no.
It is not what you want to see, especially because it's not trading positively. Like, we still have to deal with that Swiftwing Flight now.
Yeah.
Which, in the Bard Galio deck, that card is so good.
One thing that I've noticed for Kanan, though, is that they're unfortunately very spell dry right now. They've only units in their hand.
It is not a good place to be.
Not something I would think of when you think of Jace Heimerdinger is just having a handful of units.
All right, let's see if he takes.
Oh wait,
okay, goes for the Vengeance. Yeah, that was Sputtering Song.
I could have swore the effect showed the Piercing Darkness, but
there was a piercing. I think there was a Piercing Darkness in there. That card, I believe, does cost 6.
Well, no, I thought the effect looked like they chose that card, but
okay.
I'm tripping. I had some bad Chinese food earlier, so
no worries. I was really hoping to see Sputtering Song Spinner just because that card is great, but Vengeance is the safe. Vengeance is the super safe play here.
Well, yeah, it just takes care of the Galio regardless of health. So
yeah, exactly. And I think I'm surprised we don't see the. Actually, no, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm surprised we don't see the Jace development, but it makes sense, right? We don't really have the ability to support that Jace. All right, now what do we do? What do we do here? This is an interesting place to be because.
Oh my god.
Galio's doing. We have what? 4, 8 plus 7 is 15 plus 10 is 25. I think that's Galio flip.
Those are some chonky units.
Yeah, those are big boys.
Yeah, I think you station Archivist and then Shock Blast whatever lives. Or you Shock Blast something that lives and the Galio so that you get the spell shield off so you can Vengeance it.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think Black Boss is deciding, well, Kanan's trying to think about a plan, but if I'm in Black Boss's shoes, the line that I'm seeing, I'm not positive if attacking here. I do like this because it stops the Galio from leveling up. Even if Black Boss decides to go, okay, pass back, end round, my Galio flips, now I'm winning. I do like this play. As I say, if I'm Black Boss, I might have just open passed right there, right? Like, I might have just said, okay, I want to end round right now because I'm going to rally the moment you swing at me. Like,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, go for the old summon Acel pass.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really intrigued by the decision not to go for the Galio. I wonder if we see Station Archivist into Vengeance next round to try to hit something to ping the Galio down. Because the spell shield right now is a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Now, curious that Kanan opted to attack here. I guess the seal's broken on the Galio level up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You might as well just get board control.
Mm-hmm.
It also does save that Laurent. Actually, never mind. It wouldn't have died if it didn't swing anyway. But this is definitely an interesting line to take. I do think we're going to see that Silverwing Vanguard come down next turn, and goes for the Jace, which is leveled up. This can be scary, right? I think we saw a Challenger.
Challenger, yeah.
Which is really good. We double drop the 6-cost card next turn. We double up onto our Jace, and then we just pull. And Jace should kill the Galio. Now,
okay.
Black Boss does have the answer though, which is single combat, which does very quickly remove that Jace from play. However,
this is so sad.
Yeah, not a good thing to see. We do still have Heimerdinger plus 2 6-cost spells, which means we have 2 elusive units just waiting in hand. Ooh. That production surge probably couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah. Like the only problem though is when do you summon the Dinger? When do you summon the Dong?
I think if we saw single combat last round, I would say you may even want to drop the Heimerdinger this round and then say drop the production surge.
Ooh.
But ooh, the 8-2 barrier,
Oh,
nice.
Mark 7 armored turret.
That is a big boy that now kind of requires a blocker, and even if the block isn't super big, it's still going to start thinning out Black Boss's boards. We get into the point in the game where Jace Heimer is now in a more dominant position over Galio Bard. Galio Bard,
Even though Jace Heimer doesn't have any units on the board.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. But like Black Boss has pretty much played most of what they have, and now they're in a position where they're preying on the top deck gods to come through as clutch as possible. Whereas Heimer Jace is now going like, okay, I can just start casting a Vengeance if I draw it if I want to. I can cast Vengeance plus 2 other units if I want to do that. And they have a lot of room here. Oh, there's Tellstone. Tellstone? Hey, what?
Day? Anyone? Any progress days in chat?
Bro, please. I think you mean Progress Day.
Progress Day. Okay. All right. But the only downside of the not attacking last turn is the Loren Protege is still alive because of the Bright Steel Protector.
Yep.
And now you've lost your 8 power unit. Unfortunate, but you still have both Heimerdingers in hand. You still have the Station Archivist. You still have the Acceleration Gate and the Vengeance and the Tellstones. So basically a progress day. I don't think there's anything else you would choose out of the Tellstones.
Yeah, I don't think you get anything else good off of that Piltovian Tellstone.
There's the Aftershock and what's the other one? Oh, the Hextech.
Oh, that's right, Transmog. That Transmogulator is a pretty good card. I don't know how good it is into this deck though.
Well, it's good into this deck once they summon some insane.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not happening because the bar is gone. But if there was like a 10-10 Broadwing or whatever, that's when you transmogrify.
And you turn it into your nice little 3/3 Station Archivist.
Oh, I was gonna say you give yourself the 10-10.
Oh, I love using that card to disrespect my opponent and just remove that from play.
I do enjoy a bit of BM, but we see the Heimerdinger come out.
Oh my god, that's perfect math.
Ooh.
That math is so good because now if we drop the production surge and then we get a T-Hex.
Yeah. I was not just about to say that, but no, that's definitely like the play here. Unfortunately, you don't get to have the Acceleration Gate too, but no, what is the RNG for the production surge?
Honestly, I really like hitting the elusive plus.
3 units.
Oh, 3 is so good. And they're big. They're not. Those are not small.
Actually insane. Wow. 3 units and oh my god.
And it's a 9/9 T-Hex.
That was crazy. Actually crazy. That was probably the best production surge Kanan could have gotten.
Yeah, that was perfect.
The Overwhelm 5/2 and the 3/2 Tufts. Like, just having those 3/2 Tufts to be able to be on board, but then the 5/2 Overwhelm and the T-Hex because the production surge was 8 cost could not have been better, I think.
I really want to know if that was like something that Kanan thought about 2 turns ago, right? Like if there was a point, I know they hit the production surge this round, but I wonder if they were waiting potentially to do Heimer into Progress Day, or something like that. Like do the math in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this TX.
Maybe. Now, I'm curious why Kanan opted not to attack with the Overwhelm, but maybe it's just because the 2/6 Broadwig is on board. Everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's attacking the
but this is when the Transmogrifier comes out. You transmog I think you can turn that Broadwing into the
turret.
Into a 3/2 and save your Heimerdinger. I think. I'm not positive here. Oh wait, no, but you have second Heimer in hand, so do you even really need to?
Wait, does Transmog only works on enemy units, right? Or can you turn your own unit into one of your own units?
I don't think you can double it. It has to be turn one follower into another. Wait, I actually can't. No, I think you can do it on your. I think that we could see Blackbot or Kanan if they want to drop the transmog. Do that. That'd be nuts. Nope, just take the straight. I do respect the safe play. Not going for the pog content, but safe plays win games.
Yeah, transform a follower into an exact copy of another follower. So
yeah, that would have been.
Kanan could turn one of his turrets into another T-Hex.
Oh wow, that's actually insane. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
The 610 Bard. Okay. Okay. Black Boss has been able to rebuild his board, which is a very, very good place to be, and the Galio level up comes through, so that's... I'm surprised this Galio made it through this. Like, that Galio had 3 health. This
That
has just been...
feels like it should be dead.
I feel like this has just been unfortunate for Kanan not being able to pull the spells, but I'm looking at the deck list, and it doesn't look like... There's some Vile Feasts. Yeah, wow. They haven't pulled any of the Vile Feasts or the Mystic Shots or their Vengeances. Or, like, yeah, they haven't pulled any of their spell damage, really. Sorry.
I was going to say, I like the line potentially here of going for... because you only have X amount of board space, dropping that Song Spinner into the into the acceleration gate just to make your board huge.
Mm-hmm.
You get a big board. You get your elusive unit, which is nuts. Okay, I think actually I don't hate this if we grab the transmog to make more elusives. Nope, goes for progress day. Makes more T hexes. I understand not going for the elusive here because essentially, right? We see Demacia, so that means we're gonna have sharp sight. But that handler is so good too.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that's really good.
Oh wait, but why? Would you not play the T-Hex into the handler?
I don't think... handler goes everywhere. So it doesn't actually matter.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, the sequencing was definitely correct there. And then takes the pass. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you really care, right? Like, look at this board state.
I probably still would have attacked the T-Hexes just to force some clear, but it probably doesn't matter. Realistically, it doesn't matter. But
that's also
progress day.
Yeah, that's second Heimer, I believe, or third Heimer. So I think we see
7 cost progress day though.
We just want to see. We just want to see Pogtent right now. All right, give me the drop the progress day or the Song Spinner, and let me game hard.
I understand that it's the other Heimerdinger, but it could be progress day.
That atrocity.
Okay, wait.
That looks really nice to me right now.
Actually, though, I think
goes for Shock Blast. All right,
all right. The safe bet.
Atrocity.
I get it.
So good though, dude. Oh, I'm so hype. I do like the Shock Blast. Clear up some board before. Wait, do they get second swing here? Oh yeah, because of Galio. Galio just gives all your units scout.
Basically. Yeah, it's what, the first time a unit takes damage?
Yeah.
Rally. It's a pretty fair assembly.
Interesting passes here. Another hex. See, now third Hexic Handler is like the game being like, yo, you should have taken that atrocity. I'm just saying. Now we have a fat 12/12 T hex on board.
Yeah.
I just really want to see the Song Spinner come down, you know?
The Song Spinner, it's 7 cost, but it creates a 2 cost, a 2 cost, and another 2 cost.
I don't know. I don't remember. Let me look it up. It creates weird cards. I think they're all 2 costs you don't have, and they all cost 0, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Let me scroll down on my Runeterra AR here, because it's one of the best place to find resources for this game. Pick one of 2 new 2-cost cards to create in hand and set its cost to 0 this round. Repeat 2 more times. And it's just 2-cost cards in general, so you can make anything. So maybe that's why I did think it was spells. So maybe that's why I haven't seen it played yet.
Yeah, that's still a pretty strong ability, and then the rally comes through for Black Boss. Now Black Boss actually came back pretty well from this. Like, it was looking rough with the 2/3 health Galio, but the level up came through. The Bard's on board. The Chimes are coming through. The 7/7 Bird. Whoo.
Yeah, and the 4 Demacia in hand. Kanan is not playing aggressively enough, in my opinion, right? I think Kanan needs to start just trying to force out those elusives. Like, we kind of want to see these big elusive units coming down and trying to swing for lethal, or even the big overwhelms, right? Because at this point, we've dropped 3 Hextech handlers. We play a Heimerdinger. Those overwhelms are pretty scary.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. I mean, Kanan definitely has... Okay, here's the Mystic Shot.
Yeah, I like this.
they're prepping the Galio for the vengeance or something. But when do you play the Heimerdinger? I guess you don't play the Heimerdinger until something dies. But next turn you have to attack. You have to.
Black Boss passes back, doesn't swing, and we I think just saw the game end in one draw because that Ruination pretty much seals the deal here, right? Black Boss loses the whole board and dies. Like there's no coming back from that. Production Surge in hand with Heimer. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, no, I think you're right because it's way easier for Kanan to build back their board with Heimer. No,
I think Kanan's just gonna go for the swing.
Would you? What does the acceleration gate gives you?
+2/+2 on quick attack, or +2/+7 on quick attack.
Well, then where does the overwhelm come from?
I'm honestly not sure. Maybe we're just using this to get a free TX off the top. It is an 11/11, which is just giant, right? But Black Boss has a lot of cards in hand. So I don't know if playing the Heimer there is super pog, but I do respect it.
I feel like Ruination into the Heimerdinger would have been better. Just because you have spells in your hand, you can rebuild your board with the Heimerdinger.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not awful. I mean, especially if you don't have having caster vision, I'm like, okay, I'm probably not going to play it because Vanguard, right? Because I can see my opponent's hand. I'm like, Vanguard, I'm not playing Heimerdinger. But I do think that no caster vision, may have been a tempting play, just had to go with a different line that gets them this 12/12.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you Pharaohs here. Or Production Surge, that works too.
That's super good. Now let's hope we get a good roll off this. And wow.
Oh,
that is actually in terms of rolls that you want to get off that is the one. That's insane. That is actually a game-winning roll of cards right there.
What a game Kanan has had for their production surges. What the heck?
How do you win this now if you're Black Boss? Because you're essentially one swing into dead unless you top deck something crazy.
This is just game for Black Boss. This is just an open attack. There's not enough blockers. No!
Why would you take that line?
Just attack. No!
You just swung.
Just attack.
No, Kaden, you're gaming too hard. Oh, it takes the...
What?
Interest. I think I do.
I guess?
Because no interaction. No way to remove a unit prior to that going off, allowing you to then develop something like a good another blocker and then have a decent enough board state to save yourself with only 8 HP.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, that does make sense. Because like you mentioned, the acceleration gate is +2 to all your units, so they're still gonna have 8 damage as long as 2 units get through. So even if the Galio comes out, I still just attack. What's the worst that can happen?
Just take the open. It's so good. You're in a situation where you just take the open, and even if they don't kill you, they're not winning. Right, that is the safest line is the open there. But I do respect Kanan for just going, okay, end the game now.
Yeah,
end the game time.
One way or the other, it was coming through. But just I don't want to get too into the RNG, but what insane production surges?
It's nuts.
Those
were those.
It came down to the setup, though. It came down to the setup.
For sure.
Kanan played enough of the tech buff cards so that even the one cost robots that he was summoning were 4/4s. So that's really where it came down. But being able to summon 4 of those with your production surge, pretty crazy. But Kanan takes the first win between Wombat Flingons and Team Ambition Hydra White, which means that Kanan is moving on. They're still playing.
Yeah.
Play until you lose, basically.
Yep.
And we don't know who they're up against yet. But it's Kevin or Maka, and we're gonna see. It's Micah. Kind of confirmation. It's Micah's, which means we're going to see Kanan's list, who we just saw play against Yumi Pantheon, Alawi J4, and Elise Katarina Viego. So this is what you were talking about a little bit earlier, where the one-off Katarina in that Legion Deserter deck for the potential rally. But before we get into that matchup, we're going to go to a quick break. Stick right there. We'll be back with some more Legends of Runeterra action.
Don't you dare move. I will find you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Legends of
Welcome
Runeterra,
back.
Aegis Esports, Amateur, Absolution,
Amateur.
Domcast, Game 2, Wombat
Domcast
Vernon,
Absolution.
Hydra White. We just saw... God damn
Wombats,
it.
Hydra White.
We just saw Kanan win against Black Boss pretty handily.
Win. Handily, Black Boss.
Hello.
What's up? Yeah, no, absolutely. Kanan, like, even so we see insane RNG coming through on top of like really good like mathematical play, right? Kanan ended up playing two decks that rely very heavily on just counting your mana and counting numbers, which for some of us is very hard to do.
And then just pulling four
and then
spots out of a spell. So that's...
And Riot rewarded him for that, by giving him insane RNG. But the Viego game, I think, was a really good showcase of Kanan's skill as a player, right? Because Kanan, the one play with the Hydravine Viego development with the perfect block into the actually perfect level up for the Viego being, I think it was 21. Kanan was able to establish, okay, I will have 21 power on board so long as this Hydravine dies, which it kind of has to, because if not, you're risking it. But essentially it was a lose-lose situation for his opponent there, because once that Viego flips, you lose the game.
The bar was gone, so some quick maths from Kanan to win game 1. Some, not RNG, but some good setup into a pretty insane production surge led to Kanan taking the game 1 in this series, but we're moving on. It's time for game 2. Game 1's in the past. Forget it. It's time for Kanan versus Makus. Makus? Myakis? But either way, Makus. Makus is running Alawi Jarvan, Elise Katarina Viego, and Yuumi Pantheon. So potential mirror matchup in the Yuumi Pantheon, but then they're running a variation of the Legion Deserter deck, which we saw last game with a Katarina thrown in the mix for some rally action.
Yeah, that one of Katarina is actually nuts. Like, it's so good. It's so good. That's all. It's a very good card to have in your deck. The one of Katarina making an appearance in a couple of decks, actually. Potentially, I mean, if you even wanted to do, say, like in some sort of Ari Kennen combo, you could easily slot in one of Katarina, two of Kennen, in an Ari Kennen Noxus deck, with Cat being your only allegiance breaking spell. Gamers, feel free to get on that. Get to work. But
think of the possibilities.
Yeah, think of. It's actually stop doing that. Let me do it, because I'm thinking of the views. I am more, however, big on the Alawi J4 list. Personally, I think that deck is super duper hype, very good, and I think we see it does kind of have a good set of matchups into Heimer Jace. I do appreciate the Viego Katarina ban there. That's what I was gonna say. I think you ban that or the Yuumi Pantheon. But the Alawi J4 is going to be, with a good opener, we're going to see a very good situation. Bans out the Heimer Jace.
I think Makus just watched their teammates' last game, and they don't want that to happen to them as well.
Understandable.
Some not PTSD, but some fear of the possibilities coming out, maybe. But no, I think I agree. The Katarina Viego Elise deck is pretty strong. Katarina kind of fills the same niche as like Relentless Pursuit or a Golden Aegis.
Yeah,
like she's a 4-cost rally spell basically, but you also get a free unit for that. Her level up is insanely easy. She needs to strike and survive, and she has quick attack.
Yeah. So she's always doing it.
As long as she's not silenced or frostbit, she's leveling up. And it's constantly having that 4-cost rally in your hand is pretty convenient for a Noxus deck.
I think I will say though, there's a bit of a misplay people will make a lot of times where they play Katarina on 3. And I think that's one of the worst things you can do with your one of Cat. I think you play it a bit later in the game when you maybe have a bit more mana to back it up with spells, because you do need it it does have to do something to become that rally spell, right? And so you want to have the ability to say use her generated Blaze Edge with Ravenous Flock to protect, or with a Disintegrate. I think playing it on 3 is it also kind of just gives away a card in your hand. That's information, right? You don't want to. Information is super valuable. You're always essentially playing with one less card in your hand at that point because your opponent always knows you have Cat.
Yeah, it's like that's why the prank decks were so crazy, because you just know your enemy's full hand and something else that's in their deck maybe, and whatever you don't know is in their hand, you know is a champion. So
yeah, exactly. Or even then, it's like, okay, well, there's 2 unknowns in your hand, and I can play way safer. I think the Yuumi, again, leaving the Yuumi Pantheon open from both players just always feels so risky to me, because that deck, honestly, Yuumi Pantheon and Viego Cat have a very similar gameplay style, or the Viego Elise, of like eventually my stuff gets so big that I win, and you can't really stop it from happening unless you go wide and fast and go around.
Yeah, and I think both players are kind of just potentially okay with that mirror matchup between the Yuumi Pantheon.
Funny enough, this is just
and there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Round 1 open with a mirror. I like that a lot. I like that. Just get it out of the way. Someone's Yuumi Pantheon is going to go away, and I honestly, the person who loses it here might actually lose the game, because of how good that deck is. Like, that might just be my copium, like, PTSD from playing into this deck, but it feels like having Yuumi Pantheon for, potentially 2 rounds is pretty good.
Well,
one round, because you win and then you switch.
I think the question is, do you believe that your other deck is good enough to beat the other deck? Like,
that's also true.
Do you think that if you're Kanan, do you think that your Elise, or Elise Viego is better than the Alawi J4? And if you're Magus, do you think your Alawi J4 is better than the Elise Viego? Because
I'm gonna answer that. I think that Elise Viego definitely beats Alawi J4. If I was either of these players, I potentially would have taken. I mean, if I was Magus, whatever, however you pronounce it, hit it like 4 times and you'll get it right. I would take the Alawi J4 first, because I think the Alawi J4 has the worst matchup spread out of all of the decks, and I can trust the Yuumi Pantheon to just do some wins. However, that is my personal opinion about it. Also, I think the Alawi J4 might have a better matchup into Yuumi Pantheon, because it does go a bit wider than Yuumi Pantheon does. Yuumi Pantheon is very much like 1, 2, maybe 3 units on board. the Shen GG from Kanan. Oh, I just noticed Kanan's hand is actually awful.
Yeah, it's no units. Not the best place to be for.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, we got a unit.
Oh, we did it! Let's go, baby. This is what we've been waiting for.
That's what it's all about.
But no, I was gonna say the Alawi J4 actually could play really well into the Yuumi Pantheon, because it doesn't, like, you think Bilgewater, you don't think of a lot of strike clear cards, but the Tentacle Smash is basically a free 2-unit drop, a 2/2 unit drop, and a free strike single combat in the same spell.
It is,
which you're only summoning 1 unit on if you're Yuumi Pantheon, and if that unit has not been buffed up significantly, the Tentacle Smash will clear that very quickly.
So Kanan actually kind of redeveloping their board state here into a much better position, it seems. However, we still have an 11-12 with a Yuumi on it to deal with, and that is very problematic because it has Overwhelm. And Fated in Fury.
Yeah, this is a rough one. I think.
What do you think is the line for Kanan here? What gets Kanan, with what Kanan has, what do you think gets them out of this situation alive?
So here's a pretty high tech strategy that I like to employ. So you go to the cog menu in the top right, and then down in the middle of that menu that it opens up.
Okay,
that's a really, really good play that, like, it's really good for your mental, I think, and it can really help into this matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's definitely
exactly.
Kanan's a good player. He understands. He knows the process of how to outplay this, and it's a strategy that they call in French going next.
Yes,
Is pretty high tech.
actually,
So.
the French are very well known for that strategy. It's the
Yeah.
one thing they've managed to do successfully out of all the things they've failed. So, uh, you know,
But no, conserve the mental. Conserve the mental. The game
absolutely.
is it's too wide. There's a 12 power overwhelm card, and you have 2 units with 4 health total. So
I think the other big thing here, though, right, is that loss is not great for Hydra White. Just in the sense that Kanan is still the Wombat's first player. Wow. That opener for Alawi J4 is really strong. The opener for Kanan is also insane. This is actually gearing up to be a really good match. The J4, is that mulled into?
I think they did.
The J4 with the right series of cards in this deck is one of the best champions to come out of. I didn't even think about that synergy with Tentacles when it first came out, but it ends up being one of the strongest ones.
And yeah, like, and then the Alawi cards also are actually just so crazy.
Yeah,
like,
they're really good.
Eye of Nagakaboros, spawn 2, draw 2. Like, excuse me.
Why?
Spawn a 2/2 unit and draw 2 for burst for free. Well, not for free, but like, and then be able to do something else afterwards.
Yeah,
like,
that's so nuts.
Like, wow, crazy stuff going on here. Like, Alawi is sheesh. But
yeah, here we see though a very good series of cards on the side of Alawi J4. Really good situation. And Kanan, man, that hand is terrifying, right? We see essentially everything that Kanan needs to prolong this game to the point where they're going to start just getting these big encroaching mists. And Makis does not have the Alawi yet. That's really the only piece it feels like Makis needs. That development, I don't hate it. I think it's a little... Yeah, as they're just going to House Spider from Kanan, and it kind of stuffs the entire turn there. Your tentacle you spawn just dies. You don't really get to get one. It just doesn't feel good to be Makis right now. And hired gun. Okay, now we're gearing up. Ooh. Now we're playing with fire.
Oh, okay. So the Bright Steel challenges the Camovoran, and then the Broadwing challenges the House or the 2/2 spider, and then the tentacle lives, or well, it gets spawned, but it's on the backline.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fine.
Because Vile Feast.
Yeah, so really, what Makes wants to do now is to get those blockers surviving in order to flip that J4. So that way, on turn 6, we get the J4 flip down, and every turn we have a 3 mana deal 7 to a unit.
Yeah, and Kanan actually conserving one of the spiders on board so that they can not play the Elise.
Yep. I will say the top deck on that Concerted Strike is perhaps one of the best things that Makis could have drawn right now into a turn 5 against Viego, because Viego always wants to try to drop him as soon as possible on that turn 5. And so getting access to a punish when for like more often than not, they're just going to play the Viego and say, if you have it, you have it. Like that play a lot. Actually, that play is way bigger than I was even thinking, because that shuts down the entire turn for Makis and gives us a free Jarvan turn.
Yeah, like there's actually, with the Alawi cards, there's just so much strength because of the amount of clear that you can run when you combine it with Demacia. You have challengers to make sure your tentacles get big attacks. You have Tentacle Smash, you have Concerted Strike, you have Cataclysm, you have, not in this deck list, but you could have potential single combats.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of ways to clear pesky blockers off the board when you want to have big tentacle monsters attacking the enemy nexus.
Okay, does not want the Jarvan to come down here. That is that is an interesting play. I'm trying to think about the line behind that. Maybe, I guess just not wanting to drop J4 into a 7 mana Shadow House player. That doesn't make sense.
Actually very smart, because Kanan has Vengeance.
Yep. Which you can assume any Shadow House player has past if they have 6 mana in their on board. Just assume they have the Vengeance.
Remember, kids, when you're playing against Shadow Isles, wait for them to tap below 6. If you're playing against Ionia, wait for them to tap below 4. Quick
Yeah,
math. Quick tips.
one significantly easier to do than the other.
Yeah, actually true. Actually, so true. But the Elise level up coming through conveniently for Kanan. But this is actually going to allow Kanan to get a pretty good amount of clear potentially going.
I will
They
say we
have
do
a
see
lot of
Tentacle
spiders.
Slam. I do see that Tentacle Slam in hand
Yeah.
that I'm wondering if we drop it onto the Elise here or even onto that Hydravine, right? Just take out one of those problems before it becomes too much to handle. If you take out the Hydravine after having killed that Viego, you really slow down the deserter deck by a lot.
You've delayed, yeah, exactly. You've delayed the generation by, killing the Viego delayed it another turn. To killing the Hydravine will stop the growth to just this turn. I think, yeah, the Tentacle Smash should probably come out onto the Hydravine, but no, we're gonna see. Oh, we still have. Wait, we still have mana for the Tentacle Smash.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's the line that Megs is thinking out here. I was looking at their hand, and I was like, they do have enough to play Lookout first, but if they do that, they essentially guarantee that this tentacle is gonna get pulled. Oh wait, no, now it doesn't get pulled by the Elise. Ooh, yeah, no, that was a good line. Good line.
I think you just attack with the Hydravine, like pour one out. That Hydravine's gone though.
Yeah, you might as well
get the damage out of it at least.
It will trade in a situation now where you force your opponent to have some way to 4 mana burst speed, protect that tentacle if they want to kill that Hydravine. I don't think you do. They do have Sharp Sight, which does come into play here. Sharp Sight into Tentacle Smash onto the Elise. No, you can't do that. They only have mana for 1. Math. Told you, I'm not good at it, chat. I already told you guys. But yeah, no, this definitely puts Kanan in a very tough position, especially.
They should still go for the attack.
Yeah, I think you have to kill. So you have to get rid of the C's voice here. I think you just need to swing that Hydravine. You just kind of gotta do it. Okay.
Yeah, I guess not. So going for the C's voice, yeah, blocking the overwhelm, but why not? Why not go for the Hydravine and the encroaching mist? Like, why would?
I think it's potentially the encroaching mist. I think you definitely throw in. I don't know why you wouldn't throw the ephemeral in. But I think the Hydravine is potentially saying like you may not have, right? You may just be threatening Tentacle Slam. Maybe you don't actually have it. And so if I swing with this Hydravine and then you jump it and you don't have it, I end up losing for no reason really. Oh, but there we see that come through. So the Hydravine lives for another turn to protect the C's voice. I think that's the only reason why I think about it. Why I would not put the Hydravine in is it just in case potentially they're faking. Right? They may be faking that Tentacle Slam. So
they might be, but even then, like you're still getting. They either have the Tentacle Slam, and you lose the Hydravine, or they don't have Tentacle Slam and they're saving the tentacle so that they can have the huge overwhelm attacker next turn that you have to use the Hydravine to block anyways.
Yep, which they're not going to be able to do because Mega's about to drop everyone's favorite J for the king himself. Well, the king, up and coming king, should say. Ooh,
yeah, okay, Vengeance.
Great plays here, actually. Super nuts.
Really good Vengeance here. And the double up just in case the Vengeance
just in case
something.
I don't think there is a way to have it happen, but I do respect Kanan being like, just in case I'm not thinking of something, let me have this here.
Yeah, I don't even know what would save the tentacle here, because Vengeance obviously is not damage, it's just kill. And there's nothing really in the list that could show like saving this, but
it could just also be a force of habit block, right? It's just one of those things where like, it's better to do it than not.
Now the one okay, they're saving the C's voice. Good job for Magus.
Yeah.
Except for
doesn't matter that there's the flock. Ooh, in such a good turn here from Kanan. Actually does. Yeah. I mean, this just is SI control. This is what it does, right? You have a region that can answer almost anything. If you're running some sort of unit-based strategy, you're gonna get answered just like that, right? It is actually a pretty common situation to have happen, and it feels bad to be Magus.
2 tentacle slams. Okay.
Never mind. I was very wrong about that. It does not feel bad to be Magus anymore.
Kanan Kanan should just go for the double leeching, right? Double leech.
I feel like double leech isn't bad here, right? Get some draw. I could see going. Yeah, I think that's a good plan because you want to get to a point where you now have Deserter in your hand, right? You really like that's kind of your big win. You're at 6 into someone who's got 20. You just definitely you want to have it. You want to have the answers.
Now, okay, so now that we see the tentacle on board,
Goes for the Elise.
The other tentacle slime comes out.
Yeah, no, I think so. Unless
well, wait, it still kills the Elise, but you could undergrowth. You could undergrowth.
That's true. When do we see that? Oh, goes for the Cataclysm.
Now you undergrowth.
Yeah, you definitely undergrowth. I think I do like this line though because it forces your opponent to play something and you still have mana for the other tentacle slam.
Yeah. Oh, one of the deserters at the bottom of the deck, along with the other Hydravine. So
that's not good to see if you're Kanan. You're just like, oh, great.
Well, there goes 2 of the cards that I needed.
Yeah, right. Those are exactly what I want. Although we do see the Atrocity in hand, so actually great spot to be for Kanan if we hit that deserter off the top deck.
If they find it, yeah, if they get it. But it's a long journey ahead of them.
Yeah.
For the deserter atrocity.
The one thing that's going for Kanan though is that Magus
tentacles.
has no cards right now.
No tentacles either.
We just hit off that draw. Oh, we hit the eye. That's exactly what you want to see when you have no cards. Is I have Nagakamoros.
Yeah, but Kanan able to get the Camavoran off with the encroaching mist summon, so able to find blockers. The important thing here. So now you can use the encroaching mist to block that overwhelm tentacle, and then the J4. But there's no mana.
There's no mana.
All right.
That's definitely a feels better.
Why wouldn't you use it on the spider?
Yeah, the 1/1. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because the ephemeral's not a permanent. I don't know.
But you know that the
it blocks the tentacle really well, and then your opponent has to say, well, maybe I don't swing because then I lose my tentacle into a non-existent unit. But now tentacle's still going to get traded off, probably by the 3/3 here.
It's gonna get 2 damage off potentially. It's gonna get 2 damage off.
I think you block with the 3/3 for sure.
Yeah. All right. So
block just like that.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, still probably would have been nice to have the Camavoran saved and blocked with the encroaching mist, but we out here with the Viego, so things are going good.
I do believe though J4 might be flipped at this point. I think
it has to be.
Okay, goes for the. I think this is just to hit the flock.
But
it actually could just be.
I feel
Kanan. Kanan has to drop J4.
But now you can't block. Now you can attack with. Now you can attack with Viego basically, right?
I think you can. You can Viego, and then just disintegrate the J4.
But there's barrier, so it's not taking damage.
Disintegrate applies through barrier.
Does it really?
Yep. It considers even if something would reduce the damage you're taking to 0, you're still taking 0 damage. So barrier.
All right, I think that needs to change then. I think barrier should protect you from disintegrate because you're not taking damage. The barrier absorbs the damage.
Yeah, some people. I definitely think that you shouldn't be able to disintegrate through the barrier. But we're probably going to see it happen here.
That has to be an oversight.
It might be. I'm not. No, I think it's intended. Because there's other interactions that work in a similar way. It is weird that that's a thing though, because barriers should just be preventing you from taking damage, rather than reducing the damage to 0.
I just have to not agree with that, but there's no way that should be allowed.
Yeah, that also is game. We have the atrocity in hand, no way to deal with it. There's a big GG on the side of Kanan. Magus did take. Makes it game 1, the Pantheon. For some reason I thought it was Magus that low rolled into Kanan, not the other way around. So take back my earlier statement about this loss being heavy. Kanan just going really good here. Really, really good into our next game. We still have access to that Yuumi Pantheon, which I think still is going to roll right over J4. I don't know what cards J4 has are going to deal with it outside of like if they
A
draw.
lot of tentacle slam.
Yeah, it's going to be lots of tentacle slams.
Gonna be some interesting stuff going on here. I still just wow, Disintegrate. What an interesting card. And now the atrocity that we've been waiting for. You know, what are the odds that Magus has 10 damage as that final card in his hand?
Yeah, right. It has
0.
Fast speed, deal 10.
Yeah. But no, that's gonna be actually a very important win for Kanan. You know, taking back game 2 and making sure that the potential for you to 2-0 the enemy team before your next person even has to come up potentially is huge. Like you're already setting yourself up to sweep. Short night if you win all 3 games. And his teammates should be really, really congratulating him right now. Like pulling out.
Yeah, for sure.
Now he hasn't won yet.
Exactly.
Still, he's on a good path. He's on a good path.
Even taking that 1W forces Magus to play a 3rd game. So if Magus does win here, we still have, again, endurance is a thing, right? Like the more games you play, the worse you're going to play. Yeah,
exactly. And it's why the seasonal qualifiers are just so intense. It's a 11-hour day of playing the most high stakes Legends of Runeterra you'll play. It's
nuts.
A mental toll, and you know.
I heard you almost say high skill.
I don't know if I almost said that, but the
Legends, like you're going
Aegis Esports, Legends of Runeterra. Now that is
this actually is nuts.
It's
this is
playoffs.
Nuts
I don't think
level.
we mentioned that yet on the stream. It's playoffs. Round
of
is 16.
It is playoffs. This is hence why the format switched here. Kanan's hand, I just want to take a moment, way better than the hand they had before. We see everything you could really want in this deck, which is Pantheon, basically.
Well, any unit.
That's true. any unit plus spells.
Yeah, any unit is better than what Kanan had rolled initially. And, you know, having that, the ram into the Wounded White Flame, into having Pantheon and Yuumi and the Bright Steel and Bastion is just so huge for Kanan, actually. And okay, I guess just get the the faded out of the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh wait, it's Kanan's block turn. Okay, all right.
I get it.
Following. I'm catching up. I was not paying attention to.
I do want to. Yeah, it's all good. That happens to the best of us. That's why they added more swords.
Yeah, exactly.
I do want to take a moment though. Lots of swords. I think they're going to add more swords in the future. I want to take a moment, though, to look at, right, because we kind of know what Kanan's line here is. It's essentially target every round, play Pantheon, win game. Magus' hand is a bit more dynamic and interesting, right? We see the C's Voice. We have a tentacle on board. We have an Alawi in hand. Alawi, super duper good. We have, is that Prayer? The one that we have, and then some other spawn cards. So this is a really unique hand. How do you think Magus sequences this hand to put themselves in the best position to win into just the 8/8 Yuumi Wounded White Flame?
So the good thing for Magus is that the White Flame does not have Overwhelm yet. So using the Bright Steel Protectors is a smart play. Obviously Kanan has a Cataclysm, but they're not going to use that until the White Flame or Pantheon is on the board with Overwhelm. So that they can use the Cataclysm for basically a rally and a free attack. So using the barrier is a smart play, I think. Denying basically an attack, denying the fury, denying the kill onto a unit. The Cataclysm come out. I was not expecting that. I was waiting for it to at least Overwhelm. That
flips Yuumi next round, right?
Potentially. Or no, wait, it flips Yuumi right now. Right now, did they play Yuumi this turn?
I think they played Yuumi that turn.
Okay, all right.
No, they played Yuumi that turn. Yeah, you're right. So because that was interesting. Then I don't know why they didn't just raw swing. I guess no raw swing to stop the raw block into the White Flame. But even that just gives you good Yuumi progress. And there's the J4. I wonder. I think is not flipped, correct?
No, he is not flipped yet. I don't believe. And I was about to bring this up, and unfortunately, Magus doesn't have enough mana yet. But something cheeky that we could see is a Tentacle Slam into the Ayanaga Kaboros.
Ooh, that would be cheeky.
A huge tentacle slamming the 10/7 White Flame.
Yeah, that would be cheeky.
It's going to force out the Bastion anyways, but you're still summoning a huge tentacle.
Yeah, you still get the tentacle off of it. You just don't get the strike. I do like the J4 here though because it does put that White Flame at 1 HP, which not a good place to be for a Wounded White Flame.
Yeah, no, like we just mentioned, the Tentacle Slam exists. The Tentacle Slam exists.
That's it. That's all that matters.
That's the name of the game, and the Zenith Blade comes out. That's the correct play. You know, it grants 2 health or 3 health back to the 2 health back to the White Flame. Excuse me, but granting it that ability to gain more health because of the Fury, because the J4 is obviously not going to block it, but it will have a Tentacle Slam come out next turn, potentially. Well, yeah, guaranteed next turn. The Tentacle Slam is going to come out. But the only question is, ooh, the Pantheon does not level up yet, though.
No, he does not. I think Pantheon potentially levels up next round.
I think it said 4, unless I'm confused. But either way, this is the Tentacle Slam.
Yeah.
This is the Tentacle Slam.
This is definitely going to pull out that Bastion.
And you still... No, it's this first, and then the Bastion.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the Pantheon level up. And then the Bastion is still there.
To protect the Pantheon in the event that there is, you know...
Well, no, because now Magus is going to Aya Naga Kaboros this.
That is correct. And there's the single combat, which actually... No, that's not going to save. It's not going to save.
It's not going to save. But, yeah, the Aya Naga Kaboros comes out to make it a...
Wait. No, it does save. Single combat
is.
Saves. Because it forces the White Flame Blade to take 3. And then the Pantheon gets the Faded Proc off. Pantheon with Elusive and Scout, all you need. That's all you need. That's pretty much GG unless you can kill that Pantheon.
Yeah. No, this is...
And tough. That's huge.
And the barrier saved that, so...
Yeah.
Ooh, baby. This is a big attack from Magus.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Or onto Magus from Kanan, excuse me. So, yeah, the 5 damage comes through, and then... Or 6 damage with impact. And then... This is a game. I think.
Yeah, Magus throwing out the taunts, just saying, man, Pantheon is broken.
And not even the potential block from Magus.
Not at all. And Kanan takes the second set. This is huge. This is actually huge for Wombats.
Yeah, the Wombat Klingons taking back-to-back wins in a best-of-3 series. Well, best-of-9 series? I don't know. Well,
yeah, it's
actually more than 9 games.
They're very, very likely. It could be more than 9, but Magus is, or not Magus, Kanan is clutching up for Wombats.
Oh yeah, I think it. Like we talked a bit about the beginning about how just a normal best of 3 plays out as far as your picks and bans on the deck lists, but from an even bigger sense, with the way that the tournament is structured, teams aren't allowed to run more than like 2 of the same deck across their 3 players. Yeah, and they've kind of stacked Magus kind of stacked Kanan, excuse me, and had him lead off. So
this is
some macro sense even over the whole format.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the strategies that you would see in this type of event, which is send in player with good decks, right? The 3 good deck lineup players, send them in. They should win at least 1 game, but see if maybe they can take 2. And if we're lucky, we take all 3. None of one else has to play. But Kanan taking 1 game, all you have to do, right? If you're in this format, you would want to take 1 game for your team. Taking 2 is huge because now Hydra White's last player, which is Kevin LOR, who is is it Kevin? Yeah, it's Kevin, who's running the exact same lineup as Magus, is forced into a situation where they have no choice but to win 3 sets in a row.
Yeah, the minimum games that Kevin has to play is 6. The maximum is like 12.
Yeah.
So like this is a lot of games that Kevin has to play, and you know we've mentioned it's potentially a marathon. It's very, very taxing on your mental, on your focus. Kanan still able to hold strong though. I think the wins are really helping out with the marathon that he's been running so far. Now Kevin running the same deck as Magus, watching Magus get an early lead and then get the swept back out from under him has to be tough. Has to be tough.
I think you're banning the Yuumi Pantheon going into this. I think you really have no choice but to ban that. That deck is terrifying. It is literally like, essentially, if you leave it up, you are giving your opponent a win. at this point.
And Makis's only win was the mirror matchup where Kanan
Yeah.
literally drew no units 5 turns in a row.
Yeah, like
that was the only win. That was the only win that Hydra White's got all series, I think, right? All night?
Yeah, I think it was the only one. And the other big thing here, though, and this is nothing to like Hydra White is not a team of bad players. Not only do they make top playoffs of this tournament, these are names you see in seasonals top cuts, right? Like Kevin Elwar is insane. I think didn't Kevin qualify for Worlds last year? Kevin almost qualified for Worlds.
Went hard.
Yeah. Black Boss is an insane player from Brazil, like one of the best players in this game. And Kanan is just that was what, a 2-1. Kanan with a 2-0 and then a 2-1. That's huge. That's just going to show how good Kanan is as a player and how much of an uphill battle Hydra White has. I wonder if saving Kevin for last is that like their kind of fallback play, right? Because we had Black Boss with a weird lineup, Kevin and Makis running the same exact decks, Kevin being an incredibly powerful and skilled player, keeping him on the back burner this whole time. Someone who has the endurance to qualify for Worlds. We know they have the endurance, can probably play all of these games and maybe not get tired at all. I think keeping Kevin for last is like a tech that they decided to do preemptively.
What is the tech though? Why would
the tech is to save you save the Worlds qualifier for the end in case you need them.
Why wouldn't you just have Kevin hard carry the?
Okay, so you ever seen One Punch Man, right?
Yeah.
Saitama doesn't show up and win in the first 5 minutes. Everyone else gets to go in and play, right? We have a bunch of really skilled players going in, but I think if I'm looking at the lineup of players, I'm thinking to myself, if we save Kevin, someone who we know has the stamina to take on that quantity of games they would need to reverse 3-0, leaving them for last, I think is a good play. Because Black Boss definitely goes in first because Black Boss is running weird lineups. Weird deck stop lineup.
I think one thing that you're forgetting though is that Saitama always shows up after the fight started because he's like getting groceries or playing video games or like not actually being a hero.
What do you think Kevin was doing?
Kevin's groceries?
Been playing Elden Ring this whole time. You think that Kevin has been watching? No, Kevin is honing his mental by playing Elden Ring, coming in off of probably just beat Melania, honestly, at this point. Coming in off of that high, and that's going to carry Kevin through this entire reverse 3-0.
He's getting his mind right, but with that, I believe we'll be heading to a brief intermission before we get to not the final, potentially the last match of the night between Kanan and Kevin. Kevin having a huge mountain to climb to come back from this.
Yeah, no, it's actually a massive mountain to climb here.
Huge. But with that, we will be taking a brief intermission. Don't leave. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone, we're back with Legends of Runeterra, Aegis Esports League. I'm Domcast, joined by Absolution. We still are here.
Yes,
We have not left. We're
we did
here for
not.
the long run. We need to see Kanan sweep it. We've seen him take both games starting off. We still don't have a feed, Hirsch, but we're here for it. We are ready to see
We are ready
the
to go.
next match. We want to see it. We're ready. It's between Kevin and Kanan. Well, we all knew it was Kanan, but it's Kevin. Kevin's up.
And
He's
as we
running the
pointed out
same
last time, yeah, running the same exact lineup as Makis, which is 3 good decks. Now, I'm not sure what it feels like we're seeing a target here. I'm not sure what Kevin is targeting, except maybe just beats Thralls. But Kanan is not running Thralls. Now, after the last game, if I'm Kevin, I really like banning out that Pantheon list. I just feel like it's got to go. You know Kanan's probably going to ban your Viego, Elise, Katarina.
Do you though? If you're Kanan, wait. You said Kevin has to ban the
Yeah, I think
Pantheon?
Kevin bans Pantheon.
Okay. I was gonna say because Kanan can just do the same exact thing.
Yeah, like I mean, and in that situation, we're playing Viego, Katarina, Elise into just Viego. Elise. I think the Viego cat list, I think it is a bit better. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what you want to see. I wonder if they brought the same lineup so they could just beat your ban. If you beat
That
one of
works.
them,
That only works once.
Yeah, but it's once is all it takes.
Well, before the bans came through, and Kanan banned the Elise Viego cat. But I was gonna say, what if you're Kanan? Are you gonna try and think if your Pantheon Yumi gets banned? Do you care? Like if
I don't know if you do because you have the Viego Elise, right? The Viego Elise into that Pantheon Yumi with Disintegrate feels pretty good. I feel like it definitely puts the matchup. I don't know if it's in your favor entirely, but it definitely makes the matchup a bit better. And I think the Jace Heimer just has enough ways to kill your stuff.
Okay, because I was gonna say do you change up your ban if you're Kanan and you're expecting the Jace Heimer to come through? Because is Alawi J4 still something that you want to play into with the Heimer Jace?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Alawi J4 does kind of lose to I kill your tentacle, but that's still your opponent having to spend 6 mana or a lot of mana on something that you got basically for free.
And you're continuously buffing.
Yeah, you can just make another one, and then they are like, "Oh, great! I don't have second vengeance, so now I lose."
Yes, we've had first vengeance. What about second vengeances?
I think the only thing that really saves it is that ruination.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. Now, what do you lead off with for Kanan? I think you lead off with the bots.
Yeah, I think you just play bots.
Look for the cheeky bot win to start it off.
I feel like you can trust the Viego Elise to snatch you up a win. Lead with the bot deck and say, okay, if I get one with this, great. If not, I have a good, consistent deck to fall back on. And I think Kevin takes the Alawi J4 for the same reason, right? Pantheon Yumi, very consistent deck. Potentially, you just kind of leave it on the back burner here. Try to sneak out a win with Alawi J4. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then you can still try again. Both players we're going to jump into the match in a second here as both of our players lock in their picks. And here we go. Okay, Viego Elise into Alawi J4. I wonder if potentially something we don't know, but wow, that Alawi J4 hand is really nice.
Yeah, it's kind of the same as what we saw last game when Kanan was playing against Makas, and the Brew Lookout is new, but a lot of the same cards coming out. The Watchful Idol also pretty cool.
And that hand was not something to scoff at. That was a very strong hand. Just happened to be into a deck that is disgusting. So
yeah, literally, it handled it really well.
Yeah, it did. It was doing really good out there.
And we talked about it before the game started. 2 vengeance.
There it is. But we can still force them to be on 3 vengeance. So who knows here? We have 2 copies of C's Voice. We have J4, and we do have a really good way to consistently make each round we can kind of develop this tentacle and make it even bigger and bigger and bigger. So that way when the time does come and the J4 hits the board, we're going crazy. Oh, that top deck though. That Legion Deserter top deck is actually super duper good. We have Legion Deserter and Hydrovine in hand with 2 copies of Vengeance. That is everything you want to see.
But I'll tell you what you're missing is the encroaching mists.
That's true. That's true. You
You're
are
missing
on a
the
bit of a
actual
late
everywhere
play.
buffs. You're missing your everywhere buffs.
That you are not wrong. I do like potentially just not blocking with the 1/1 here. Ooh, I think Violet facing that would have been really good to stop any J4 progress.
Oh wait. Oh wait, no. I was gonna say something.
I was gonna say, yeah, it trades and now the J4 has that the one that it needs, and you're gonna start blocking that tentacle really soon. Unless you hit it with a vengeance.
Yeah. I was gonna say, oh wait, but Kanan has the arachnoid or the summon spider things, but no, that's the Elise card, and Elise is on the board again. Oh, this is a rough place to be because you can't. Oh my god, another hired gun. Wow. But the
it goes for the raw deserter. It is just a good unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 5/4 with overwhelm already. Like that's a pretty good stat line to have for a 5-cost unit.
And we're going into turn 6. Is this correct? Yep. Okay, so and there's the Viego.
Ooh.
You play that. You play. You don't get the chance here. But the deserter's gonna get pulled by the J4. J4 is gonna get hit with the vengeance most likely here. It just seems like the best play for that. Like just get rid of it.
You have to save your deserter.
Yeah, because if you look at this hand, right, we have what is essentially the best, like a nuts hand for deserter. We have deserter on board, Hydrovine next turn. We have the atrocity for when we want to swing our Hydrovine at our opponent, or not our Hydrovine, our deserter at our opponent for free. Like we have everything we want. It's just about delaying the game long enough for it to turn in our favor.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Like you don't care if Kevin gets a little bit of setup because you like you mentioned there's atrocity in hand. Eventually, you're just going to suicide the Legion deserter into the Nexus.
We are in a bit of a position here where,
do you not
glimpse beyond
that?
I think because it's going to trade, you don't, because then they still get to keep their 7/7.
That is true. That is actually correct. Oh man! Oh wow! Just eating that 7 damage, even closer to the atrocity win.
Although I do see here like I would say this is a very good open attack from Kevin, right? You kind of I think you just eat that and go, okay, I'm gonna have a big open. Like it's gonna be huge. Oh, that disintegrate and the second Legion deserter. That is so nuts. We can easily see the Viego come down and the Camivore soldier. So yeah, Kevin essentially has to open attack here.
Oh no, Kevin!
Kevin, so much damage. Just always take it.
Kevin, no. Now the Camivore has to come out, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's Camivore in here. It makes your Legion Deserter absolutely massive. The only other play that would make some kind of sense is Viego, but you want blockers. You're at 10 HP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need the double summon. That's like the most important thing right now, is because you only have 10. You have 10, and that potentially could have been lethal from Kevin if they opened attacked.
If they drop the open there, even if it's not lethal, it's still just forcing your opponent to take some damage, right?
Okay,
like we may lose the tentacle, but
they're trying to force out the trade with the deserter.
Yep, I think we're going to see the Viego come down.
They have the barrier.
I think for sure we see the Viego come down here, which does make that trade with actually impossible to take unless you were able to pull it first. You have to put the tentacle in ahead of everything else and try to force your opponent to just take big overwhelm damage, because at this point they're still going to have less units than you. I think there's a way you can position this to where they take damage. I
think playing the Viego is like the smart choice there, because even if you lose the deserter, you're getting 9 power towards that Viego level up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Saving this health is actually huge. You block with the deserter.
I don't. You can still block the deserter here. I think there's no 2-mana burst that's going to do it, and deserter's going to live, because that first spiderling will die. You create the encroaching mist. Deserter goes to 9. It lives, and then the next turn you win.
That's fair. That is fair.
The tentacle, I think, needed to go first.
I just always have like this, like growing fear in the back of my mind that it's like decimate. There's decimate somewhere.
Decimate somewhere. That deck, dude.
I don't know how, but there is.
You see Noxus, it's safe to assume.
Yeah, no, the the stress is real. But no, it's like you said, like you don't die, so I guess into Bilge Water that's fine because there's nothing really to kill your Nexus with that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think this is just an open from Kanan. You lead the.
Yep, you open, and then I would lead the cam, if anything, over the Deserter. Because if there was mana in hand for, say, like a draw spell, that is insane. Okay, I see the game. Kevin is just playing. If he has it, he has it.
Yeah, that's
at this point, which I think is what you have to do in this situation.
You just gotta do it.
You just gotta go. Yep. I'm gonna go bigger than you, and if you have atrocity, I get atrocity'd. Oh well.
Yeah. Sometimes it be like that. They don't think it be like it is, but it do.
But it do.
But it do, and it do be like this. And we're gonna see the Viego level up, I think, before the game actually ends.
Probably. Let me see that animation.
Let's.
Sag.
Must have been like three powers short.
But yeah, no. It was right there.
That's a big win from Kanan, you know.
For sure.
Surviving through the tentacle slams, surviving through losing your Elises, getting the Viego out, getting the huge Legion Deserter, and then having atrocity in hand. It's simple as just have atrocity. Just
do math. It's all you gotta do. Just draw the atrocity, and then you win. Yeah. That's all. That's it. If you're not climbing ladder, it's because you're not drawing good enough.
Not to take away from Kanan's win, because that was a very, very well played.
Very good. Super good math.
They lost the card that they were hoping to keep on the board, but they were still able to pull through with what they had, which was a very, very, very good matchup.
All right, Kevin. Dude, these Alawi J4 players are eating so good on their opening hands right now. I have yet to see a bad opener from this deck this whole tournament.
It's right. They want you to keep playing Alawi, so they made it so you always draw good mulligans.
And he hits the Broadwing, which...
Oh my god.
Excuse me. And this specific matchup is super strong, right, Lacey? I was going to talk about this before. Like, I don't know how you feel about it. Do you think Kevin minds losing that first game?
I think he'll mind if he loses this one. He'll really mind.
For sure, he'll mind if he loses this one.
But if he loses this one, he's going to be so mad about losing that first one.
But like, say you're in Kevin's shoes, right? You're like, okay, I lose the Viego. I have to play Pantheon and Alawi into Jace Heimer. And Alawi does set up a bit faster than Jace Heimer does usually, because Jace Heimer does have to play at a kind of a slower speed.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Heimerdinger takes time to set up a board. The Jace, you have to play 2 6-cost spells, which takes a minute. You have to wait until round 6 or 7, and in like a best case scenario. But I think I'm surprised Kevin hasn't gone wider.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Kevin is going to kill this Jace off here. This with a C's voice will kind of handle that Jace. Well,
is Kevin worried about the Shock Blast? Like, is that why they were saving the C's voice?
Potentially worried about Shock Blast here. Kind of trying to say maybe you'll play something now or maybe you won't. Personally, yeah, I like this Vengeance here a lot. We just watched Kevin invest a lot of resources into that Tentacle. So right now we're just dropping the Vengeance. It's one of the best ways to sort of mess with the Tentacle deck is in these later turns after they've built it up so much is to just get rid of it. Now they have to start over from scratch. That's pretty good place to be.
Kind of the way you handled the Pantheon Yumi decks, the Fatal decks. But as we see the challenge from the Jace coming out.
Interesting. I guess just to control what's blocking. Right, so because with the nerf to Sharp Sight, nothing is really gonna let that 2/3 kill the Jace except for double Sharp Sight.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's a fair point. Oh, both thermos. Wait, no. I thought it was a toss for a second. I was like, oh no, both thermos.
No, they're gone. But no, this is actually really good. I actually really like this play. We get Flash of Brilliance, which I personally like I like the Thermo Beam because it's guaranteed I'm flipping my Jace right now. And I'm removing your Tentacle, and there's no real way you're gonna save it at burst speed.
Yeah. No, I think the Thermo is definitely the smart choice just because like it is clear. It's one of your only clear spells that you're running besides the Shock Blast. Because, Mystic Shot, let's be real, is not killing the tentacles. No. Vile Feast is only there to break barrier.
Yep.
So I definitely like the Thermojunk Beam. And we see the Jace level up. The acceleration gate is in hand. Another Forge of Tomorrow.
All right. Kevin
Let's
going to
see
go for the open attack here, which is going to handle. Oh, grabs the Jace. Interesting choice.
Kevin has to be expecting like a Mystic Shot or a Vile Feast, so that when he commits this attack, the J4 doesn't just die.
Yeah, it does get
the J4 still just dies because Kanan has Mystic Shot and Vile Feast in hand.
Yep. Unless the J4 flips off of this, which I don't believe it does.
No.
Does not look like it's going to. Looks like it has 0 progress. Yeah, it just dies here. Unless is that second J4 in hand or is that second Cataclysm? I actually can't tell. I believe it's just Cataclysm.
Yeah, it's just a Cataclysm because the J4 is prismatic, so the Cataclysm.
Oh, went for the Heimer development, which is going to get punished by the Cataclysm here. Yeah, that's gotta suck if you're Kanan right now. You do have second Heimer in hand, but still, you're now have to commit your entire turn here to redeveloping the Heimer rather than playing a spell.
But yeah, the open attack I actually really like here because now you have the rest of your turn to wait out the Tentacle Slam.
Yep.
So I think that the angle here is to Forge of Tomorrow into Heimerdinger.
Yeah, I agree. I like that line quite a bit. It does basically force your opponent if they want to challenge something else. Well, actually, they tap their Cataclysm. Now the Heimer is super free and super safe.
And next turn you have the Thermo. So if Kevin decides to do something that is not open attack, you have both.
Yeah, you have 2 copies of Thermo, which are making you T-Hexes.
Yes, exactly.
Which, as we saw, are nuts. And they actually are only going to cost 6 because of Forge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And you could... Oh, this has to be the Thermo. You have to go... Oh, no Thermo.
Ooh, honestly, I think Shock Blast is better in this situation. I do like that.
Yeah, I do actually like the Shock Blast. Because you take away the Tentacle and you take away the Broadwing. But you don't get to use it yet. If Kevin decides to attack before using another card, which it looks like Kevin has 2 Broadwings in hand. So
yeah, might go for that second one, which would potentially draw the Shock Blast onto not the Tentacle.
I think the Shock Blast still goes onto the Tentacle.
Ooh, the hired gun.
It has to go on the Tentacle. Or the... Oh, okay.
Oh,
or
okay.
the Caesar Voice.
I mean, if I'm Kevin, I like this a lot because I can redevelop both of those units here, and my opponent just is going to be at 3 minutes. Oh, okay.
I think it has to be the Tentacle because
you have to.
Alawi wants the Tentacle to survive to be doing damage to torch level up. But yeah, exactly. Because losing that 3 power on the Tentacle is very, very important.
Yeah, it's huge. It slows down. Exactly. It's going to slow down the level up. It's going to slow down, or it's going to make your block into Alawi significantly better rather than having to deal with at this point would be like a 6/6 overwhelm. It's now going to be a 4/6 overwhelm. And off of this, we do get ourselves a Floor Be Gone, which, this is a Demacia deck, but man, Floor Be Gone is not to be laughed at. That card is great.
Yeah, I mean, elusive is pretty nice.
I like this.
No, why would you play it? The Petrosite Broadwing's on board.
I like it because it's going to draw the Broadwing, right? It kind of tells your opponent. Well, it either draws the Broadwing or you learn your opponent has Sharp Sight and then you cry.
But I think if you're Kevin, you commit Broadwing and Sharp Sight because you're expecting Kanan has something in their hand to clear the Broadwing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do potentially like... I think maybe that a Cataclysm there onto that 6/1 could have been better, right? Than committing the Broadwing.
Yeah.
Because it only has 1 HP. Like, it's not a huge deal. Or even Cataclysm onto something.
You could have Cataclysm with the hired gun onto the Floor Be Gone, and then still had the opportunity to attack with the Broadwing and challenge something else and threaten that.
Actually, here's a bit of an interesting play. That Cataclysm onto the Alawi would increase her power again.
I think that's what we're going to see.
Yep, onto the Heimer. I was going to say, I think this is actually a really good play. The Alawi is potentially going to die because of the Mystic Shot here.
Why didn't Kanan use the Thermo? What were they waiting for?
I believe... Didn't Kanan just swing? Kanan swings, loses Prio.
No, it was Kevin's attack.
Yes, yeah, he didn't have the action rebuttal to get it off right away.
But no, Kevin attacked, and then it was Kaden pass.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, no, that is weird. Why would they not thermo there? I mean, maybe just saving it.
They weren't expecting the Cataclysm, maybe?
That also could have been it.
Oh!
Oh, that's actually...
No!
I don't know if you ever cast that, to be honest with you.
I feel like that was the perfect turn to cast that, because, I mean...
Glorious Evo?
You can't predict the pass into the pass, but, like, there's no way that Kevin develops fast enough, and now Kevin's just going to develop this turn, and you have no units. Still.
Yeah. And this is not looking good for Kanan right here.
Well, you have the Thermo.
That is good. That actually is really good. It's going to buff all... Makes our blocks way better here. And then next turn we do...
Sharp Sight is still a thing.
Sharp Sight is still a thing. It's going to save the tentacle, but it does remove... It does put Kevin in a hand with one card. Which is not really a place you want to be.
No cards.
Especially because Kanan is at 14. No cards at all. Yeah, Kanan's at 14 HP. A bit of a situation where, like... Kanan's going to probably put the 3-1 into the 5-3 tentacle. Oh no, lets it hit face. Okay. Just says, okay, I'm gonna take care of that with Thermo Beam.
Yeah.
Not worried.
The tentacle won't be as strong next turn.
No, it will not.
1 power. The only problem is that Kanan I was gonna say has no units. But
Alright, ready? We're gonna see the RNG again, chat.
Does he still have it?
I think you thermo first, honestly. I think you have to thermo the tentacle because Kevin's on no cards in hand.
If you thermo, you have no...
Oh, that's right, you have no mana. That's true.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, the RNG is nuts!
You don't even
literally
attack
full board. No, you take that end around you just got given. That is so free.
What the heck? What is going on
with
here?
The shock blast.
And then you shock blast. You shock blast. Yes,
yep.
Exactly.
That's game. Kanan is this gonna be? I think Kanan 3-0s here.
What a game! The instant flash of brilliance into Victor or the Glorious Evolution, and then a 5-card summon production surge into. Oh my gosh.
That is insane. The production surge has been the highlight card of this entire series. Single-handedly pulling back so many games.
What is going on?
I don't know. Wombats are on something else right now, but Kanan's showing off the real power of Jace Heimer. I may just start playing this deck because I do like me some Jace Heimer. But wow. Oh my, that's insane. That was insane. That production surge top deck, good players draw good. Like, that's all it is. That was nuts.
I don't even know what to say. I'm going to make someone mad. I'm like...
that for sure was like a I need to top deck production surge to not die here situation.
Like, not even top deck production surge. I need my production surge to give me 5 units. That's the production surge I need.
Crazy.
That's the production surge I need. And Kanan pulls it off. He pulls it off. They pull it off 3 times. 3 times they pull off a huge production surge. I'm gonna make someone mad. Like, that's RNG. There's no way.
That was definitely some very strong RNG to close the games. But the more important thing there though is that Kanan played at a level of overall gameplay across what was essentially, how many sets did Kanan play there? What was that?
Kanan played 3 best of 3s.
3 best of 3s and played, I think it was a total of 7 games in a row on like semi-mentally taxing decks, right? Yuumi Pantheon, whatever.
You're in playoffs, this is it.
Like that is insane mental from Kanan right there. Insane.
And I don't want to take away from Kanan. I mean, the production surge is pushing it a little bit, but Kanan, I'll go back to prop Kanan up because Kanan played to the point where he was able to stall out the game, survive long enough to where he was able to find these cards, be able to find these opportunities to get these production surges, get these huge cards, these huge turnarounds, because there were times in a lot of the games where things weren't looking good. There were times where Kanan was on the ropes, things were looking down, but he was playing well enough to the point where he was able to survive, and that's really what it came down to. Is Kanan was playing to win. He was not giving up, except for the one Yumi Pantheon game.
Yeah, that was. What can you do? That's not even giving up. That's just being like, I know when my time is up.
and I mean, taking that game out, like the instant lose, no unit draw Pantheon Yumi game, Kanan won 6 games. He only lost 1 game, and it was because of the flip side of his insane RNG. You know, the insane RNG of the production surge, and then the insane RNG of not drawing any units for 5 turns with Yumi Pantheon. But again, a huge series from Kanan, putting the team on his back though.
Yeah, really. You know, Kanan's teammates are super duper happy right now. The Wildbat Flingons are loving it. Waiting, I think we're gonna try to get some interviews with the winners here.
The winner.
I think it looks like we're production staff has told me we're gonna be waiting to get a word from the rest of the team. What do you? I want to talk outside of the production search because that was definitely a highlight moment. I want to talk about the performance of our opposing teamer, TA Hydra White, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because don't let the Kanan's disgusting 3-0 fool you. These are incredibly talented players. And I think that some of the losses just came down to, outside of RNG production search, just Kanan playing at a level of mathematical nonsense that I don't think anyone could ever play at. Like Mr. Robot style, like the calculations 7 turns in advance gameplay. Because like the Alawi games we saw were not bad. Like the Alawi deck was doing very well. Mm-hmm. It happened to get outplayed. And I think that's testament to Hydra White's skill.
Yeah, and part of that, I think, is, you know, with the Alawi decks, we saw the mulligans, we saw the insane hand draws. It was kind of not a lack of, what do I want to say here?
They didn't have ways.
They ran out of steam. Like,
yeah,
they used their cards correctly, but it just still wasn't enough. And it feels bad.
So yeah, it feels like decks that can control into thralls are also going to control into tentacles. Mm-hmm. And so tentacles don't do well into control matchups because they don't really run very much weight protection, right? I mean, hey, maybe we see Unyielding Spirit come back into the game, chat. I'm looking at you, silver players, all right? Maybe your time has come. All right, we got...
Well, go ahead. Sorry, take it away.
No, you take it away, Dom. Right. I give it to you.
Well, we have the winners here. We have Beast Llama, Trivo, and the player of the hour, Kanan, for the interview. So how are we feeling after that 3 series, Kanan? Hello, Kanan, are we here?
I think so. I think he's here.
I hear Trivo.
Hey guys.
All right. Well, Trivo.
Yeah,
Trivo and Beast Llama, since you're here, how are you feeling about Kanan's insane performance today?
Honestly, I was gonna shut up and let Kanan do most of the talking since he just like completely carried us all in his back in that crazy series. But I'm not sure where he is. Let's see.
And go ahead.
He should be here, but man, this was crazy. Like I was really nervous into this because I was really scared of playing because I brought Trolls and they had like really good matchups into one of my decks. So I was like, okay, Kenan and Beast Llama, you're the guys, you can do it. But I didn't expect like Kenan to just like play like God and needs to win 3-0 and do the 6-1 row. And the only game he lost was a Phantom low row that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was wild.
So did you all plan to have like what was the planning process going into the series here? Did you choose Kanan to go first because of the lineups he was bringing, or is it just like how did you decide who goes first and who to bring what?
Like the idea was that we really expected them because they got like 2 of the same lineup, and Black Boss had the third lineup, and Kenan was like really favorite into either Micah's or Kevin. So because they got double the same thing, they'll probably just play one of those players first. But like they ended up bringing Black Boss, which was like Kenan's worst matchup, but he managed to win anyway. So that was kind of nuts because we didn't plan we didn't expect to have that good of a matchup into Bard Galio with the Heimer deck, but he managed to win it anyway.
Yeah, Cannon played really well.
It was nuts.
Let's see.
I do have a question I'd like to know. We kind of have. I hear that Bard Galio was the list you guys were most afraid of. But like of your opponent's decks, right? What lineup did you see that you were like, oh, that's easy, we're beating that. Like that lineup's gone.
Islama, please answer that.
Sorry, what was the question? I was distracted by
essentially, whose lineup on the opposing team do you think was free?
For which of us?
For you.
Yeah, for you.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you think on Hydra White had the freest lineup?
Probably Black Boss, since he brought Thralls, and like the whole idea of my lineup was to try to bring 3 decks that were good into Thralls.
That does seem to be the general consensus of this event here. Just beat Thralls and Prage.
Yeah.
Pantheon win game.
I mean, that's what all of the Hydra players were doing, I think, with like their Demacia decks. It just only Trevo brought Thralls, so
yeah, for sure. And Dom, do you have any questions like to ask? We're still waiting on Kanan to get in here.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Kanan, are you
he
here?
can't hear the.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello.
What's up, Kanan?
Feeling good.
Feeling good. I can imagine feeling good. So my first question for you, Kanan, is which deck that you ran did you like the most, that you felt was the strongest that you brought?
Viego. I mean, like,
Viego?
that deck just does so many things.
Deck is nuts. That deck is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, Kanan, as you were the one who played all 3, whose lineup do you think was the most free for you to beat? You're like, oh, that was so easy, I didn't even have to try.
I mean, like when we saw the lineup, like Hydra brought 2 of the same lineup, and I felt that I was favored into that one because all 3 of my decks can beat Ilawi J4. So we put me first, so like we can expected them to submit either Makers or Kevin first.
Gotcha. Do you think if they had opted to do you think that if game set 1 had gone differently, do you guys think you would have still clutched it out? Or do you think that them sending in Black Boss first would have thrown off your game plan?
If I lost to Black Boss, then I felt we could have been on a back leg for the match. But Beast Lava could still clutch it out, because like our bad matchup is Trevo into their Ilawi decks because he's running Thrall.
Yeah, I think the problem with that, like if Kanan had lost, would be that Trevo has Thralls, which is the deck they're obviously targeting. So like, but if I could have won a lot of those games, which I feel like I probably had a decent shot of, then I think it would have been okay.
What I'm hearing is Beast Llama is personally calling out Hydra White for saying that he would absolutely wash all of them.
No, I mean our plan was to finish the matchup between me and Beast Llama, so that Trevo didn't have to play.
Yeah, that's like, because like my best shot was into Black Boss, so probably I would have played into Black Boss if kind of lost, try to 1-1, and then I would like just try to high roll them with Trolls. But like that wasn't like a good odd, even though. It was like, it would depend pretty much on Beastly. Like, if Conan loses game 1, round 1, it would be like me trying to force 1-1 and lose then. And then like round 4 and 5 would depend on Beastly. That's like the way it would probably go.
Let me tell you, I know you can depend on Beast Llama. All right. I'm like 99% sure Beast Llama carried my fantasy seasonal bracket. So like,
yeah,
I was like, this is my player. I'm taking him.
He has the highest score in our team for the group stages.
Yeah, Beast Llama kills.
Looks like not for playoffs though.
Nah, it's fine. I just need you to get there. I didn't need you to do well. All right.
So I have one final question, unless you have something else, Absolution.
Herschel get mad if I ask my final questions.
Well, now I want to hear your final question.
Don't. They'll get mad. I like to start problems.
Herschel get mad either way.
All right. No, it's fine. Not too mad. Don't worry, Hirsch.
Well,
you go first, Dom, and then I'll go.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, now that Cannon has hard swept Team Ambition Hydra White, and you've moved on to the round of 8. I'm not sure if we know who your next matchup will be, but who of the teams in the round of 16 are you most worried about going against?
Honestly, we were worried about Hydra the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, then the rest of the playoffs should be a breeze.
No, I mean, I think that I think Beautiful Gamers is a team to watch out for. I think
they and RTA, but like they are on the other side of the bracket, so we can only face on finals. Yeah. So it should be like, I don't say it's going to be easy, but like
Those Amongst is also pretty good.
Yeah, they're really good. But like on our, I don't know if you guys watched the group draw show, but like Hydra was the bottom team of our priorities to pick. Like we had like 5 choices, and they were like number 5. We didn't want to face them. We preferred to face anyone else, and we ended up facing them. So they were the team we like were more scared of.
I see. Yeah, I understand what you're saying here. All right, final question. I'm looking at the bracket here. Looks like you're going to be playing into Virtue Gaming Discipline. Now, I could ask you to be, good, respectful players, but I think it's more fun since it looks like that's what we're gearing up to see next time potentially here. Or Puffcat Peddlers, actually. Looks like it might not be done yet. Could be playing into either team. Do you have any call-outs you're looking to make? Any specific players you want to call out right now on stream that you're like, I want to play you because I think I'm going to beat you so bad that I make you look free?
And we really trying to start drama, huh?
Did you just call me by my first name? Whoa! I'm scared. Did you hit me with my first? Was that my first name? I mean, it's known, but like, wild. I think it may have just been a mic thing. I thought I heard you call me Elliot. That's my name, chat. By the way, you should know that by now. It's pretty public. But like, yeah, let's start some drama. I think it's friendly, a little friendly banter. Never hurt anyone. Just all, that's all I'm saying.
I guess they don't want to start drama.
That's okay. It's all good. I understand. No drama starting.
Honestly,
I get it.
On these teams, like, it's like most of the people I don't really know, and then the people I do know are like super chill, and I'm not trying to call them out.
You know what? I respect you for being a good player and a better sport than I am.
Not friendly banter, but thank you for showing up for the interviews. Congratulations, all of you, and Cannon especially on the huge sweep today, pushing the team into the round of 8. Congratulations, I think a third time, but thank you again so much for coming through and putting on an amazing show for us tonight. I think that'll be it for us, Absolution. We saw an amazing match of Legends of Runeterra. 3 3 exciting games. So very, very.
Yeah, no, they were very exciting games. I like all players played out of their minds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, that will be it for us here on the show. My name is Domcast. I've been joined by Absolution, Cannon, carrying the Wombat Flingons to the round of 8. That's been our coverage for the round of 16 for the Legends of Runeterra League on Aegis Esports. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
Absolutely, we will. With more action.